right. 5 minutes early, talking to myself. Janie, how are you? Jesse, good. How are you? Good seeing you guys. Whew, fuck. What's up, Tyler, Steven? Janie, Jesse, Tyler, can you guys hear me? Okay, good. Aramic, you are quite early this morning, or it is this morning in upstate New York. Good seeing you, my friend. I'm glad you guys are here with me. What's going on, Charlie Knight? How are you? Tyler, Steven, Aramic, Jesse, good. Janie. Nice. Well, I'm so glad that you're here with us. I have some fucking awesome stories tonight. I've got some banger lot lizard stories for you guys tonight too. So it's so weird. Last week it was like minus temperatures. Right now it's 35 in upstate. Fucking weird. This is our last live of 2024. You're absolutely right, Jane. Thank you for reminding me. What's up, Lee? How are you? Rick, how are you this evening, my friend? Red Cardinal, Michael, Greg, how are you, buddy? Troy. I appreciate that. Thank you, buddy. The Dirty Dog Man fam. That's so funny. Oh, shit. Sweet. Thank you, Aramic. I truly appreciate that. I really do. You know I do. What's up, Jess B? How are you? Adam Condon. How are you, buddy? Carla. I'm glad that you're here, Carla. Caitlin from British Columbia. What's up, pups? How are you? How are you feeling tonight? What's up, Christy? How are you? I'm feeling great, Rick. I'm feeling great. You? David Handford. How are you? We haven't had any in upstate. I think there's been some spotted in like Syracuse region, but Syracuse is like 3 hours west of me. I think it's funny because like when the news talks about upstate New York, they automatically put like Rochester, Syracuse, Utica, Rome. That's Western New York to us that live up here. Hey, Poppy, how are you? Truth Quest, how are you, buddy? Claire Harris. What's going on, Scott Langhorst? Blue Days. Simone, how are you, Simone? Storm in Alaska. Brad's doing good. Brad is doing good. What's up, Monica? Jim, how are you? Brian Beard, how are you, buddy? So anyway, I got some amazing lot lizard stories for you guys tonight. I've got a whole collection of just awesome experiences for us tonight. It's going to be a good night. It's Fort Drum upstate. No, Fort Drum is more western. It's out by Watertown, and Watertown is west of me. If you look at New York State, Adam, and you follow the New York State line, I am right on the eastern line of New York. So right up from the city going straight up to Canada. That's what upstate New York is to true upstate New Yorkers. A lot of people like that live in Western New York consider themselves as upstaters, but no, they're Western. You know, it's a weird kind of cut up, but Darren K, how are you, buddy? Problem with people today. They're all way too judgmental. Right on, brother. Right on. Actually, there's something that I wanted to address. Hey, MJ Bates, how are you? Barry Allen from the LBL area. No, but it's definitely not a joke. I definitely hear you. Grim, how are you? I might wait until Addicted to Knowledge comes in because she had something awesome that really, Kelly Johnston, how are you? That really resonated with me the other day. And, it was, I'll just address it really quick. And when she pops in, I'll say it again. But someone had made a comment about me and my channel being, like staying true to the game. What's up, Glenn? How are you, buddy? But Ethan Hawk or Evan Hawk, how are you? Ethan Hawk. But staying true to the game. And then they brought up Dark Waters, James, and said that he kind of got political, and that he lost his edge. And that's not true at all. He's still an amazing researcher. He's just choosing to do something to help his channel grow. And all the more props to him. And then Addicted to Knowledge stepped in and said, I really like both channels, and I don't think it's kind of cool to down another channel on someone else's channel. But it was just really, really interesting and nice to see, because, just because James has been known to do cryptid and paranormal doesn't mean he has to stay in that field, all the more power to him. His videos are good. He's still an amazing content creator and researcher in my eyes. Exactly, Simone. Exactly. What's up, Richard Windsor? How are you, buddy? RH, what's going on? We just started, Evan. Just started, my friend. Catwoman, how are you? Timmy. Yeah, he's doing his thing, like I remember James was actually the person that told me that I locked myself into just doing Dogman content when I was like Dogman Encounters with Jeff Nadolny. And I realized that because then people were like, when I did a Bigfoot or a paranormal, they were like, this is a Dogman channel. And I'm like, I got to change the name, because I like everything, I like talking about everything that interests me. So, it doesn't matter what you do as long as you love doing it, I guess, so. Wesley September, how are you? I've been waiting for this night all night too. What's up, Gringo? Gringo's picture, that is his real picture. He looks like a 1950s chiseled wrestler. Message about Skunk Ape. Scott Lee, what message? Did you email me? I very seldom use Facebook. So yeah, I don't send me an email. The reason why I don't use Messenger unless it's with somebody that I've already have established like conversations with and such is because for the government monitors it and I don't like using it often. William, what's going on? But I'd like to hear what's up, Nick Hendricks? How are you? Jake, how are you, buddy? Frank Morris, Toby McKimmy. Blackie the dog, how are you? 4,000. No, Savage, you're good. You're good. My hair's growing back. It's in that ugly stage right now. I got these weird shits. Okay. Addicted to knowledge. There you are. I was just talking about you, and I wanted to thank you for something that you said earlier this week, and it really resonated with me and made me smile. And it was in regards to someone commenting about my channel being great or good or whatever and saying they used to listen to James Dark Waters, but now they don't like to because he is too political. And I loved your response, and I agreed with your response 100%, and I just said it doesn't matter what he does, because as long as he's doing what he loves and he's staying true to his game, that's all that really matters, so I really appreciate that. Thank you. What's up, Daryl? Wiley, how are you? Thank you, Addicted. All right, so we're going to start the evening off with what's up, Gary? Thomas. We'll start the evening off with a paranormal experience, and then we'll go forth. And once again, I'm still trying to get used to the implants, so every once in a while I might drool. I was saying something to somebody when I was cashing out the other day, and I'm talking to them, and all of a sudden this big fucking wad of spit came rolling out of my mouth, and I'm like, I was so embarrassed. And it was a pretty girl too. That's the worst part about it. I was like, fuck me. All right, here we go, kids. Many years ago, a couple with two young boys moved into a one-story home a few miles outside of Portland, Oregon. The property was just down the road from us. We had known the wife through our church. After they had been in the house for a few months, they both began reporting strange activity. They had both heard something large and heavy enough to shake the ground with its footsteps coming from the forest and walking around the outside of their house. In fact, it attempted to get into their house on several occasions. It also made growling and snorting noises. This happened several times, always at night. On one occasion, the older of the two boys, then about 4, was heard talking with someone in his room during the late evening. The parents distinctly heard both the boy and a second male voice. Both parents hurried into the room to find the child reaching toward an open window, yelling, "No, no, don't go, don't go." This was at first written off as an invisible playmate, except that the window had been closed to keep the child warm, and he was not strong enough to open it alone. The unknown being continued to prowl outside of the home, and the family became terrified of what may happen if it had gotten inside. They refused to go outside after sundown for any reason. After 6 months of fear and without the means to move, they discussed the situation with us one evening. We decided to try and eliminate it. Since both our husbands hunted deer and elk, they both had rifles if needed. The men rigged spotlights all around the house, which were connected to a single switch inside. Late in the afternoon, they got into an old car that was parked on the property in plain sight of the house and hunkered down out of sight. They remained there with some food, coffee, and a walkie-talkie. Shortly after sundown, we were inside the house and began hearing something walking the perimeter of the building. The ground shook with each step. We heard it slamming the walls, doors, and windows. I threw the switch for the lights, and the men stormed out of the car with rifles at the ready. They saw the tall weeds moving as though something large was walking through them, but could not see what was causing it. I was in contact with my husband by radio while we were inside hearing the sounds. The men heard nothing other than my voice on the radio. We were terrified, but as a result of that night, there were no further disturbances at the house, as far as I know, and the family moved out a few months later. There had been several families in the residence since then, though none had reported any activity. The house was demolished recently to make room for a larger residence. I will never forget the sound and fury we had experienced that night. Most times when I mention the incident to others, they usually say it may have been a Sasquatch or another large animal roaming around. I doubt that very much, since the men never heard or witnessed anything outside of the house. The women had emotional issues and had several episodes after she had given birth to her boys. I suppose that could be classified as postpartum depression nowadays. She was also very young, 16, when she was married to her 32-year-old husband. He was a member of a fundamentalist religious sect and was very strict when it came to family. In particular, she was expected to cater to all his needs, literally. I suspect there was a lot of abuse, which then resulted in her emotional issues. My question is, could this have been a poltergeist activity? Could she have manifested a dark force or being? I will end this with a more disturbing detail. After the couple moved away, we rarely communicated again. They had moved to Idaho and lived in a very rural community. I was told later that the woman had died while giving birth to a fifth child, but I discovered soon after that she actually died of unknown circumstances that had never been made public. She was only 27. Maggie Mayhem, thank you so much, dear. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate the love. Gringo, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you. What's up, Jim Bob? Randy Man, how are you? Janice Morrow, long time no see. How are you? So what do you think on that? Like, they didn't see it. Addicted. Thank you so much. Thank you. So they didn't see it, right? But I've heard like of people being so bothered mentally that poltergeist can be not conjured, but attracted to the not so much disturbed person, but emotionally traumatized person. So I'm not really sure. Guys, thank you so much. Gringo, Addicted, and Mayhem. Kimberly Flores, how are you? But I mean, it doesn't sound like a Bigfoot because they didn't see it, unless it was cloaked. But I mean, we may never know. Or self-manifested, yeah. What's up, Bill M6? Raven, how are you? Negative energy. Right on, Ford. Right on. Just like Ford's. Completely negative energy. Thank you, Robert. I love the Melvins. Actually, my favorite album by the Melvins is, well, they're all pretty awesome, but Melvins Fantomas Big Band is probably my favorite, with Fantomas and Melvins together. Just fucking amazing. Tina Marie, how are you? Any plans for the new year? Just to figure out how to do something different for the channel for you guys to make it better, a better experience and a more learning and just something different, I think I'm taking my family on a cruise to Japan this year. Blackie the dog, I would love to go with you. That is the only place besides the United States that I really want to see is Japan, just because I have such a fascination and respect for for Japan. It is safe. It is very safe there. What's up, Jason? What's up, Mike Turner? How are you, buddy? How you been? Dude, have you tried it, Darren K? Coke with lime is the greatest. What's my email? Hang on 1 second. What's up, the Wolf? How are you, buddy? I type really slow, so hang on. You should see me when I have to put things into the TV with the remote. There we go. Right under Daryl. Right under Daryl and right above Blackie. Candace Kelly, how are you, dear? Boss Monster. Hang on, guys. I'm stuck. I almost showed you nipple. There we go. Thank you, Addicted. Coke here in Texas has a hint of lime. It does grow really fast. It's like I got these like strays right here. I'm thinking in like 6 months it'll be back to where it was. Thank you, Jamie. Just a little nip slip, baby. You know at our age. Just as long as you pinch it. That was uncalled for. That was just uncalled for. What's up, Shackleneck? How are you? Glenn, it's good seeing you, buddy. I'm glad that you're here with us tonight. What's up, Coker? Wiccan Eyes, how are you? My ear hair grows disturbingly fast. You know, mine does too, and I hate that we're as like the aging process. Like, it's so weird. Like I was looking at my hair the other day, and I'm like, I turned my head, and I had like 4 fucking like long ear here, and I'm like, what the fuck? It scared me. Like I jumped back. I was like, holy shit, dude. Like I thought they were gonna bite me. They're fucking like it's just terrifying to see. It makes you wish you were still 16, 17, 18. Or when you get that lone back hair that's like this fucking long, you're like, where the fuck did you come from? And you can't pull it because you can't reach that far. That's no good. Damn Yankee. My uncle has facial hair. And he lives on the res. Like he has a big old beard. I have a theory about men's ear hair. I'd like to hear that. I'm waiting before I read. I want to hear that. What's up? Wait until you get an astro. Fuck that, dude. Oh my god. I will fucking burn that shit off. Nicholas Carroll, how are you, buddy? Thank you, Mike Turner. Appreciate you. Not yet, RH. A little bit later. Isabel's sleeping. She's not feeling good tonight, so I'm gonna do it in probably a half an hour. I'm not gonna do it too much tonight because she doesn't feel good. Lucinda Collins, how are you? All right. Love the love. I'm waiting for Blue, but I don't know. I love your red-nosed pitty too, Tom. Red-nosed pitties are awesome. They're big cinder block heads. They're beautiful dogs. All right, kids. Oh, here we go. Most men who are inside don't seem to have them as much. I have them, but I'm outside occasionally. I'm outside a lot, actually. But well, I thought your theory was going to be like some like crazy like Viking men having hair so they can protect their face and shit. About 2 years ago, me and my fiance were heading to my parents' cottage in a little town called Brighton. It's about 100 kilometers east of Oshawa, Ontario. So I had been building this 95.5 liter Mustang. There we go. 5-liter Mustang since I was 15, and I pulled it off. Me and my fiance at the time at Brighton exit made a left. We were probably driving for around 10 minutes, and something on my left peripheral of my eye, something was traveling alongside of the road in the forest while we were doing about 60 kilometers. And I asked my fiance, are you seeing what I'm seeing right now? That something is moving as fast as we are. So I work corrections at Provincial Corrections, so a lot of things don't really get to me. So I had 5 double D diesel flashlights in my car, and me being a tough guy I was, pulled my Mustang over to the side of the road. Keep in mind that this is around 1 a.m. because I had finished a shift and we were going right after work. No lights, no nothing. This thing, when I stopped my vehicle, it stopped as well. I walked out of my vehicle. My fiance is telling me to get back into the vehicle. And no more than 20 feet away from me was something standing there, going back to that canine conversation people have. Sorry, but this canine, it almost looked like a werewolf to me and my fiance. My fiance is native, and she was saying that whatever that thing we are looking at, it looked right at me. I looked right at it or at it. I looked right at him or at it. I couldn't tell if it was a him or not. I did not see any private parts, but we looked at each other, and I just got this faint feeling something's wrong. And it looked at me, and it let off this noise, and then ran back into the forest. I jumped back into my Mustang and drove to my parents' cottage and told my dad and my mom everything that happened. And my fiance was talking about how there are these people called skinwalkers that sometimes take form during the night, that they are cursed. Their bloodlines are cursed, and during the day they come back. And that's just the little story I had. It's always been the cottage conversation, and we always look at the side of the road when we are driving up there. So, one, a skinwalker is not fucking cursed. 2, I hate it. I hate Reddit, and I hate fucking creepypastas, and I hate Hollywood, because now like everybody has like a skinwalker story anywhere besides Navajo land. It's a shapeshifter or the indigenous native tribe to that area usually has a different name for them, but they are not the Yenadalushi, which is the skinwalker, the Navajo name for skinwalker. Larry Lindman, thank you so much, my brother. Appreciate you. How are you tonight? Maine Coon Izzy, how are you? There was something that I wanted to say that I forgot. I wanted to talk about. Okay. So that's what I wanted to say. Remember in the first experience that I shared how they said that the little boy had his window was open and they heard him talking to somebody? That reminded me of something that happened to me when I was young. And I don't know if I can I don't know if it qualifies as paranormal. But so when I was young, I was I have 9 years in sobriety. I was addicted to opiates for the majority of my life, but I partaked in almost every kind of drug known to man. And I liked hallucinogens when I was young. So when I was 16, I had just left school. It was a Thursday night, and there was no school on Friday. My friend had some liquid LSD in a Visine bottle, and we dropped. And then we were going to meet up right after I went to my house and he went to his house. But I had gotten in some trouble at school that day, and my mom and dad both were waiting for me. So when I walked in, shit hit the fan immediately. I didn't start tripping yet. I got grounded, needless to say, and sent to my room. So sometime during that night, I had been sitting in my room, and my dad will still talk about this to this day. I'd been sitting in my room, and they had came up the stairs to see if I didn't. Jersey Nightcat, thank you so much, dearie. They wanted to make sure that I didn't sneak out of the house, right? My dad comes up and he walks by my bedroom and uses the upstairs bathroom that was next to my room. And he heard me talking, right? But then he heard a whole nother voice, like not my voice and not a voice I could recreate, he said. So while he's whizzing in my bathroom next to my room, he could hear me having this conversation. So he thought that I had snuck somebody in and we're hanging out, which was against groundation. He opens the door, and I'm sitting in the middle of my bedroom on the floor with a glow in the dark Jason mask on, pitch black, listening to the Gravediggers and having a conversation with myself. But he only heard me talking at that point. He didn't hear the other voice. How fucking weird is that? RH, I still am too, my friend. I probably will be for the rest of my life. And he still remembers it. Like he said, I mean, I don't have a deep voice. I have a reasonably deep voice, but not deep. He said that it sounded like something that I could not recreate. My dad has a deeper voice than I do, and he said it was deeper than his. But there I am, just sitting on the floor with a fucking glow in the dark Jason mask on, and I look up at him, and he looks down at me, and he looks in my room, and he just shut the door and left. He probably went downstairs and was like, your fucking son is a weird fucking kid, Gene. Blue Days. No, Belle's birthday is November 15th. What's up, Todd Wagner? How are you? From Wild Rose, Wisconsin. Jersey Nightcat, thank you so much, dear. I want to just let you know that I appreciate that. This is a little strange one. My neighbor's barber got arrested for selling drugs. I was a customer for 6 years. I I never knew he was a barber. Oh shit. That's because the very first video of the day is usually brand new or on the weekdays, and then for the new subs, I'll do a redo. Um, for the new subscribers. What's up, Randall Kennedy? How are you? So every first video of the day is usually brand new, except for Saturdays, because I've got so much to do on Saturday to get ready for the live stream. You wouldn't believe the shit I get for that too. People are like, "Why do you do that?" I'm like, "Cause I can." I don't know. Fuck you. Randall, thank you so much, brother. I truly appreciate you. Mountain Dew, what's up? All right, this one's fucking awesome. A witness was hiking out in the woods in Kirkland, Washington. He soon came upon a creature climbing a tree. Initially, he thought it was a giant white lizard. As he explained it, he made out that it was a translucent creature with a tail. Its body almost looked like an ectoskeleton. Echo. Why does it just say echo? Ectoskeleton with stubby little legs or appendages. It turned its head around backward and was looking directly at him, making a snapping noise with its mouth. Its face had jagged bumps on top and bottom, and the witness could not tell where the teeth were or if the bumps were its teeth. Suddenly, he began hearing a whooping noise. Just then, a creature came crashing through the brush. The white creature turned its head to listen and began to scale further up the tree. A large, blackish brown bipedal creature, he recognized that it was a Sasquatch, came suddenly around the tree and grabbed it. The white creature whipped its tail, hitting the Sasquatch in the arm, seemingly surprised. The white creature shrieked out, turned, and leapt onto the Sasquatch. Despite it being 4 times its size, the white creature fought wildly, crawling all over it and burning it with some sort of substance that the witness assumed was a type of venom, which caused the Sasquatch to screech out in pain. A smoke or substance was visible anytime the white creature would lean in to bite, though no spit was ever seen coming out of its mouth. After some time, the Sasquatch grabbed the white creature by its head and pulled it off. The white creature flipped forward, and then its head spun 360 degrees around. It bit the Sasquatch's arm. The Sasquatch threw it against the tree and punched it, causing it to splat, similar to a fried egg. The white creature seemed to do this on purpose, elongating itself around the tree to absorb the blow. The white creature then hopped to another tree, and the Sasquatch followed, attempting to hit it with a stick. Eventually, the white thing fell out of the tree and ran into the woods, and the Sasquatch followed. The witness has no idea why, but the Sasquatch appeared to really want to kill this white creature. By the way, MJ Bates, thank you for the email. I didn't get a chance to respond to the last part of it. I'm absorbing the information that you sent me still. No, that's something that when anybody sees these like altercations, where it sounds like it's saving the creature or saving the human, but maybe not necessarily. Maybe they already have this kind of animosity or fighting over territory or whatnot. you got to think these creatures are apex predators. And I don't think that humans mean too much to Sasquatch. That's my own kind of thing. You know what I mean? Maybe, but I don't know. No Cat Bussin'. What's going on, my brother? How are you? It's like when when that Nephilim-like creature killed the two dogmen, and people were like, it sounds to me like the Nephilim was protecting the hiker from the dogmen. But not necessarily, because and even the guy that told me the experience, he never felt like that Nephilim thing came out of nowhere to protect him. He just felt like there was a kind of ongoing feud, and they got smashed. But once again, we don't know. So anyone's theories is just as good as mine. Arabic, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you. And now I've got to find, just because Arabic is the largest Mothman believer and lover this channel has ever known. This one goes out to Arabic. The Bigfoot one went out to Larry Lindman, because I know Lindman loves Bigfoot ones. But Arabic, he is the advocate that Mothman has always wanted. Like, if Mothman needed an advocate for some reason, they would call Arabic, and Arabic would go running to help him, because the love is so deep. I, along with 4 of my friends, saw a strange creature about 3 or 4 feet in height through the body around April 1969. As memory serves, it may have been the 70s. I do recall we were riding around in my 69 Boss Mustang. We were on a gravel road south of Park Forest, Illinois, a small suburb on the south side of Chicago. At the time, there was nothing but country and farmland south of Park Forest. We were heading west on Stunkel Road, going to Monet, Illinois. We were in the valley, a few houses west of where I used to live as a boy. I was 17 or 18. It was a foggy night, a real thick blanket of fog close to the ground. As we started up the hill, we emerged from the fog, and it was crystal clear night with a almost full moon and lots of stars. We were driving along, and my friend slowed down, stopping the car. He leaned over the wheel and stared at an angle up the windshield. I asked him what he's doing, and he didn't answer me. He just kept staring up through the windshield. So I leaned forward and looked out the windshield. A silhouette against the full moon, sitting on top of the telephone pole, was this Mothman-like creature. Body covered with a thin fur like a bat. It had wings folded up tight against its side, and you can see little claws at the top of each wing. It had a tail similar to the length of a cat in comparison to its body, but it was smooth like a rat's tail, except for a single tuft of hair at the very end. As we sat there watching it, it was looking to the left and then to the right, and then it would look off across the golf course to the north. The whole time it was switching its tail around like a cat does when aggravated or nervous. The neck and head were smooth, leather-like, with no hair on them as far as I could tell. I don't know exactly how long we sat there watching it, probably a few minutes, but it eventually looked down at us in the car, threw its head back, opened its mouth, showing an impressive teeth, and let out a blood-curdling screech, and with 3 flaps of its wings, did a half-back over twist and sailed silently over the field, heading toward a large marsh south of our position, and disappeared into the fog. We were only 30 feet from the base of the pole, and the pole was probably 25 feet tall. So we were very close and got a real good look at this thing. Over the years, I've only shared this info with a few close friends, and they treat me like I'm nuts. I am still friends with two guys that were with me that night, and we never talk about it. Anyway, that's my experience. Aramic, that's how you feel. I know that's how you feel about the Mothman. And it is a foggy night in upstate New York. I don't know if you guys can see the police car. It's forked right there. But it says, $20 is $20. And that was loud. What's up, Liz? How are you, dear? Good seeing you. Liz Sisney is here with us tonight. The guy broke into my house last night. He said he was looking for money. So I got up and looked with him. Oh, shit. What's up, SDL? How are you? You made my wiener dog jump. Darren, I thought you were going to say something else, but I'm glad you added the dog to it. I'm glad, Liz. I'm glad that you're here with us. Hang on one second. Coming right now, guys. I have not had this. I have not had my shirt on in so long, but boy, does it feel good. There we go. Now I'm feeling lucky. Feeling lucky. Not yet, SDL. Thank you, Tracy Goggins. Appreciate that. It is my special shirt. It is. I saw something on December 18th of 2024, and I wonder if anyone has any theories. Let me start by saying my boyfriend saw it the first couple of weeks ago. He had gotten off of work at 1 a.m. in the morning and was driving home. He was about 3 minutes from our apartment in Oakdale, PA, just south of Pittsburgh. He described this creature as tall. It was hunched over, walking on two legs, and in a pose, it was about 6 feet. It had a large chest, skinny arms with claws, skinny legs, and was fast. He saw it, and by the time he realized what it was, it started to sprint. Now, I just saw this thing, or think I did. We live right next to St. Patrick's Cemetery. It was foggy, but the cemetery is well lit. We literally live across the street. I was doing laundry, which is in the basement of our building. Walking back up to our second floor apartment, looked over into the graveyard from the deck and saw a silhouette of something moving. It was basically what my boyfriend had described. It was huge, barrel-chested, hunched over, and gangly. I thought it was an ape at first, but then realized the body shape of this thing wasn't the same as an ape. It looked like it was walking on its knuckles. I couldn't make out any specific details because it was across the street and it was just a silhouette. But it spooked me a bit. What the hell was this thing? I'm still freaked out now. Well, it was me. Ha! No. Yeah, Lauren, I agree. I agree that I'm funnier, and more on my toes, sober. What did you guys think of the video this morning with the South Carolina fucking tree breaks? How insane was that? Absolutely insane, right? Pine Knot for you, 1995. I don't think it was either, no cap. I don't think it was a dog man or a Bigfoot at all. It just says this: I'm not gay, but $20 is $20. SDL. The story behind the shirt and the logo and saying it out loud is because one of my favorite singers is Mike Patton, who is in about 100 different bands, and he was wearing a basketball jersey very similar to this, with a bunch of drawn on tattoos, and I thought it was great, and I just wanted this, so I created it and then started yelling it out the window, and that's how it started. I think it started like 2 years ago. Kitty Wolfrus. I can't read the rest, but I will in a second. Hey, how are you? Thank you, Johnny Crow Studios. Appreciate that. What's up, Sumner? How are you? Maybe if there's, I don't know, you'd have to have some sort of, there'd have to be some sort of hair follicle with tissue or some sort of liquid, blood or whatnot. No cap, you're absolutely right. Patton is one of the greatest rock stars ever, and he doesn't even He doesn't even like consider himself a rock star. He's just Mike Patton. Like same with Buzz from the Melvins. He's just like been doing it for so long that they're just awesome. But you would need hair follicles or a large portion of fatty tissue and some sort of liquid from the body. So just from it touching the tree, you couldn't get DNA. Truth Quest, that video, that was definitely a kangaroo. That was right after the fires. And the video came from a clip from the news where they had spotted this kangaroo that had smoke inhalation and stuff. And someone saw it, cut it down, and posted it saying that it was a dog man. And then a few people, myself and two other people, did a reverse Google search on the video, and it brought up the video from your home country, Australia, from the news. We got about 4 minutes till the lot lizard story. So Right here, we'll do an experience and then the lot lizard. Aramik is back. How are you? I live in northeastern Pennsylvania in rural Pike County, very near Promised Land State Park. Myself and many others in my town had seen what locals refer to as the bear cougar. This was a four-legged cat-like animal that was built like a bear, just as large as well. The fur is deep brown. The creature has a bushy tail, almost like a fox, but more like a big cat. The creature's head and ears are cat-like, but its muzzle is elongated like a bear or a dog. I saw this creature run across the road one morning on my way to work. Lots of locals have seen this creature for several months back in 2019. Most notably, the creature had been seen by a local man who is a retired veterinarian wildlife warden. He has seen bear and has seen mountain lion, even though the Game Commission states there are none in Pennsylvania. And he is adamant that this creature was neither the two, but claimed that it looked like a hybrid between the both. He went so far to offer a bounty to any hunter who could capture or kill the creature. A few months after, the state police and game commission were seen in much higher concentrations around the area. This is a very rural community, and only time we see police is when they are called. So it was strange seeing them patrol the area. Shortly after that, no more sightings of the creature had been reported. All right, so I'm going to give you guys the choice. Because I kind of did what I did last week for you guys, and I know how much you liked last week's. So, Penny, the lot lizard, or Larry Flint Jr., the gay lot lizard. You pick. Penny or Larry Flint Jr.? Looks like Larry has won it. We're going to get both of them anyway, but Larry won it. Here we go. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting long shadows across a rickety old truck stop known as Jake's Rest. It was the kind of place that truckers loved, filled with cheap coffee, greasy food, and the oddest characters. But none were as peculiar as Larry, the local lot lizard, who was not your average lot lizard. Larry was a cryptid of sorts, an elusive creature with a penchant for mischief, neon spandex shorts, and a rather unorthodox sense of humor. Larry, with his wild hair and mischievous grin, could often be found skittering between parked rigs, his laughter echoing off the metal bodies like a haunting melody. He was an amalgamation of all things campy and creepy, a perverted trickster who thrived on attention and bewilderment of the truckers. His eyes sparkled with mischief, and he had a knack for finding the most unsuspecting victims. One fateful evening, as the last rays of sun vanished and the truck stop took a more sinister ambiance, Larry had set his sights on Earl. Richard, thank you so much. Set on Earl, a weary trucker with a bushy mustache and a heart of gold. Earl was known for his long hauls and even longer tales about the open road. He rolled into Jake's Rest tired and hungry and barely noticed Larry Flint Jr. skimping around the shadows as he approached his rig. "Hey there, big fella," Larry called out, his voice a mixture of sultriness and playfulness. "What's a handsome trucker like you doing in a spooky place like this?" Earl turned, startled, eyes widened at the sight of the strange figure before him. Just grabbing a bite. You lost or something?" "Oh, honey, I'm not lost. I'm found. And I'm looking for a little fun," Larry winked, striking a pose that would make any fitness model envious. "Care to join me?" Earl blinked, unsure if he was awake or trapped in some bizarre nightmare. I think I'll pass. I just need some coffee. Larry, undeterred, hopped onto the running board of the truck and leaned in closer. His grin widened. Come on, I promise I won't bite. Unless you're into that. He let out a laugh that was both creepy and infectious, the kind that sent shivers down Earl's spine, but also made him chuckle. The trucker rubbed his neck, feeling more confused than anything. Listen, buddy, I'm just not into. Don't you worry about that. I'm a special kind of lot lizard. I offer services you've never dreamed of. Larry wagged his eyebrows at him. And I can guarantee you'll be laughing. Earl finally cracked a smile. Okay, I'm intrigued. What do you have in mind? Larry clapped his hands in delight. Great, but first you got to pass the initiation. What kind of initiation? Earl asked, raising an eyebrow. The funniest kind, Larry declared, spinning around dramatically, before dramatically revealing a small, sparkly tiara from behind his back. You must wear this crown of fabulousness while I serenade you with my favorite song. Earl couldn't help but laugh out loud. You got to be kidding me. Absolutely not. Now, absolutely not. Now, you're in or out, Larry insisted, his sparkling eyes with glee. With a sigh of resignation, Earl accepted the challenge, chuckling as he placed the tiara atop of his head. Larry, seizing the moment, began to belt out an off-key rendition of I Will Survive, twirling around the truck and using the headlights as a makeshift stage. Earl doubled over, laughter bubbling from within as the absurdity of the situation washed over him. But just as Larry hit the high note, a shadow loomed over him. A grizzled trucker named Hank stepped out of his cab, arms crossed, watching the spectacle unfold. What in tarnation is happening here? He bellowed, eyebrows raised. Just a little fun, Hank, Larry replied, spinning on his heel to face the newcomer. Join us. Earl here is about to be crowned the king of lot lizards. Hank squinted at Earl, then at the glittering crown. Is that what you do for fun, wearing sparkly crowns and singing like a banshee? Earl, still chuckling, nodded. I'm just following orders. Hank busted out laughing and the tension broke. Well, I'll be. You got guts, Earl. He stepped closer, wiping a tear from his eye. Just remember, if you need a backup singer, I can't promise I'll hit the notes, but I can sure make a racket. Larry, eyes wide, spun back to Earl. You see, it's all about the laughter here. And just when you think it can't get any better, he pointed toward the sky. A shooting star! Sure enough, a bright streak zipped across the darkened sky, and the three of them all cheered in unison. It was a strange, wonderful moment. A cryptid lot lizard, a weary trucker, and a skeptical but laughing companion, all untied in the absurdity of the evening. As the night wore on, Larry regaled them with stories of his adventures, each tale more ludicrous than the last. Earl learned that sometimes the unexpected could be the most entertaining, and that laughter could bridge the weirdest of divides. So, in the shadowy corners of Jake's Rest, the legend of Larry Flint Jr., the lot lizard, grew. Not just as a creepy figure of the night, but as a comedic cryptid who brought laughter to the open road, one silly song at a time. And while he might still be perverted lot lizard with a penchant for trouble, he was also a spark of joy that truckers would come to remember fondly. Kakalina, how are you, dear? What's up, Joseph Cannon? How are you, buddy? Delirium, how are you, bud? You're good, buddy. You're good. Thank you, guys. I'm glad you liked that one. Kitty, thank you so much. Richard and Kitty and Aramic, thank you. Once again, I did see it out of the corner of my eye while I was doing the lot lizard. But thank you, Aramic, for the 10 extra members that you blessed me with. I do appreciate you. You know I do. My brother from another mother. Oh, Sonny the Wandering Gypsy, how are you? Melissa Stock, how are you, dear? All right, here we go. This happened in Fresno County, California. The witness wanted to share 2 incidents he and his friend had at Avocado Lake in Fresno County. Avocado Lake is a 210-acre day-use park located 23 miles east of Fresno, California. The lake has a strange history, specifically many mysterious drownings and Bigfoot activity. Stories have been told over the years surrounding these deaths and what lurks below. Many local residents believe the lake may possibly be haunted. Anyway, the gentleman had been visiting the lake since he was a child. His family had regularly gone there for recreation. He and his friends also spent time at this location when he became an adult. He knew about the strange occurrences, including Bigfoot sightings. His family had experienced a Bigfoot sighting at Huron along the California Aqueduct when he was younger. So he was well aware of the existence of these creatures. The first incident at Avocado Lake occurred in 2014 while he and his friends had been swimming. A friend was attempting to swim across the lake to the far bank. As he got within 20 feet of the opposite shore, he described what felt like a pair of strong, hairy arms wrapping around both legs and starting to pull him under. He said that if there had not been long aquatic vegetation extending from the shore, of which he grabbed hold of, he would have certainly been pulled under the surface. He states that his friend was absolutely terrified and refused to get back into the water. In 2016, he and other friends had a picnic at the park. Later in the afternoon, he and a lady friend walked down to the lake and sat along the shore. As they were talking, they both noticed a hairy hand and arm extend from the water near a large rock in the lake. They were about 50 feet away and both got an excellent view of a well-defined human-like hand and arm that was covered in dark, coarse hair. He said the arm was very long and extended well over 3 feet above the surface. I heard that Dr. Pepper with the cherry is really good. My uncle, brother-in-law, and all drowned on Easter Sunday. Wait, Liz, in reality, your uncle drowned at Avocado Lake? Holy cow, that's crazy. Have you ever heard of the stories of the Bigfoot stuff there? That's insane. Sorry, just doing the ball shake. There we go. You got to read the rest of the shirt, droids. But $20 is $20. Liz, that's absolutely mind-blowing. Jeff, do you believe that some people are fated to have dogman encounters? Yes, absolutely, Patty. Absolutely. I've always been weird, Mr. Billy Blue. They get sticky and sweaty. So, well, because of pheromones and stuff, Patty. That's what I've heard. Love you too, Billy Blue. Normal people scare me too. I don't know what I would do if I put powder on them before I start. Don't worry, I'm all powdered up. But I wouldn't know what to do if I hung out with normal people. First, I don't know any normal people. Like my daughter, Isabel, wants to be a demonologist. Like that's her career goal. I want to be a demonologist. And I'm like, go for it, bud. Whatever. I don't care. Like when we went to the Conjuring house together, I mean, she had already wanted to be a demonologist anyway, but when she went to the Conjuring house with me, she knew exactly at that point what she wanted to do with her life. And this channel loves you, RH. And this channel loves you. Well, we are normal. I almost drowned when the ladies see my bush like Crocs. Across the street. Well, I'm wearing basketball shorts tonight, so they would kind of breathe easily, and my testosterone replacement therapy is helping them out quite a bit too. I don't know. They say they shrink with testosterone. Mine haven't. I feel like a fucking 90-year-old man. Those suckers are flopping in the wind. No, I'm just kidding. What the fuck, Jeff? Why do you say this stuff? I live in Jefferson County, West Virginia, near Harper's Ferry. When I was a teenager back in high school, we used to throw these parties on top of a mountain at the big clearing in the woods. Let's skip to the juicy details and get straight to it. There was about 15 of us one night with a good-sized bonfire with our vehicles parked around it, sort of forming a semicircle. My friend and I were sitting in his car when this event happened. Now, before I get into it, I want you to understand that we were all about 16 to 18, your typical young, dumb West Virginia teenage type kids. So, not to be too specific, I was in the passenger seat and my friend was in the driver's seat. He just so happened to look up and saw something that caught his eye in the tree line that was in front of us, past the bonfire, maybe 20 feet. I was looking down when I heard him say, "Dude, what the fuck is that?" So I looked up and was like, "Where? I don't see anything." He pointed it out to me, and I instantly could make out the silhouette of something unnatural. It was a dark night, but it stood out from the light provided by the fire. I replied, "What is that?" He turned on his headlights. I still remember this thing very vividly. It appeared to be at least 7 to 8 feet in height, humanoid, and very skinny. I could see the bone structure, skinny, long legs and arms. I couldn't see its eyes, like they were sunken in and covered with a grayish ash colored skin. When I locked eyes on this thing, I felt a sense of fear I have never felt before, and still to this day. This was 15 years ago. I have not felt it since. I honestly was speechless. My friend somehow rolled down his window and alerted everyone else that it was there. All you heard was girls screaming and kids scattering everywhere. Everyone booked it back to their vehicles and we all peeled out. The thing never moved. It stood there the whole time. Like I said before, we don't get scared. Most of us were armed, but not one single person wanted any part of this thing. At school, we told stories and we nicknamed it the Sick Man. I did research and Googled the description, And the only conclusion I came up with is a crawler. I was in actual and total shock looking at pictures of these things. It was exactly what I saw. Deborah, good seeing you. Donda, Granny's going to bed. Love you. Love to all. Good night, Donda. Didn't know about bad language. Did I say bad language? It's after 12 o'clock, so. Fuck! No! He swore! What the fuck, Jeff? When you grew up with a dad like mine, my dad's like favorite word is fuck. He can make a sentence out of that word. 20 words. I'm not kidding. 16 of them will be fuck. No, I want to see Nosferatu. I want to see the new one. I am a bad boy. I hope someone spanks me. Jesus. I love Jules. That's the only thing I got me to quit smoking cigarettes. Thank you, Johnny Crow Studios. Well, thank you so much. I swear to God, my dad was yelling at me and my cousin one night. We were laughing at him because we were counting the amount of times he said the F-bomb. And my dad just kept getting madder and madder and madder. And the more we laughed, the more he used the F-bomb. Blah, 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 blah. Jeez, I'm not getting many likes tonight. Holy shoot. Nobody likes me. Must be my shirt. What's up, Enki? How are you, buddy? Vaping is, I love vaping. You know, I used to love cigarettes, but now I cannot stand the smell of cigarettes. Like once I started vaping, it was like I fucking loved smoking cigarettes. Like I had one in my hand all the time. But it's been probably 6 or 7 years. And I would never go back to a cigarette. I hate the smell of them now. That's usually the point, or usually the case, Darren. Our puppy was barking to go outside. It was about 4 or 5 in the morning. I took him out back and stood on the steps of our deck because I did not want to get my feet wet. My dog was doing his thing when I looked up and saw something across the yard. It was slowly walking toward me, one step at a time. That's how they usually walk. And its eyes were super reflective of my phone's flashlight. Thought it was a deer, but its eyes were so tall and staring straight at me. And it wasn't running away, but walking closer. I hurried the dog up and we ran inside. I have recurring night terrors, so at first, Gringo, thank you so much, brother. So at first, my husband thought it was just that. But I was crying and shaking and could barely talk. He told me it was probably a deer, but I wasn't convinced. I refused to take the dog out after midnight. Recently, one morning at about 5 a.m., the dog was barking and my husband took him outside. Once again, my husband stood on the deck. He did not have his glasses on, but he said when he looked up, he saw something tall standing in the forest part of our backyard. He said he saw it walking slowly, almost like it was gliding. And he said as soon as he noticed it, he got a nosebleed. My husband is typically prone to nosebleeds, but hasn't had one since the season changed. He said he wanted to get a closer look, but felt like he needed to go inside instead. Like on instinct, so he ran in. My husband is a zookeeper and is not afraid of animals. He works with giraffe, elephants, and said this creature was definitely larger than a deer. We've been searching to find out what this thing is, but come up with nothing. It's your husband's ex-wife, lady. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, Gringo, thank you so much. I appreciate that. The ghoul. I think the ghoul quite possibly may be the Donna Harmon. How are you? Maybe the crawler. I don't know. No cap. I'm your Huckleberry. Johnny Ringo. It's Frederick fucking Chopin. That was some of Val Kilmer's best lines in that movie. I did have a good Christmas, Jane. I really did. I had an amazing Christmas. Thank you. I got to put together all of my daughter's crap and then had to pick up the cardboard and everything else. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to New Year's. I don't really care about, like, I care about Christmas because it's obviously Jesus's birthday. But I mean, as long as the girls are happy, that's all that makes me happy, you know? This is my first time listening to your channel, and I feel like I'm back in the 7th grade having so much fun. The juvenile humor is hilarious. Were you really talking about your balls? Yes, I was talking about my balls. My balls get sweaty when I'm sitting here for a long time, so I have to shake them out. Enki, I hope you had a great Christmas. I hope everyone had a good Christmas, you know? I hope so, Enki, or Aramic. I hope so. At least one of us is. Ew, ketchup chips? No, thank you. Does anyone think the Pope actually opened portals? Yeah. I really honestly, like, yeah. The Vatican is a weird place, but I would pay any amount of money to hang out in the library of the Vatican. You know how much information is there? Holy moly. Like, I would sell my booter hole to a Catholic priest to go to the Vatican Library and hang out. Oh my God. And I can't believe I just fucking said that. Wow, that is wrong. Wrong in so many ways. Andy Davis, what's up, Squatch and Holler? How are you? Thank you for joining us. You said it, RH, not me. You said it, not me. Especially if they see my shirt, Pine Knot, huh? Portal is, yeah. Well, they say that on the Pope's Capel that it says Victor's Filii Dei, which in Greek, Hebrew, and Latin supposedly mathematically spell out 666 somehow. Which has always kind of weirded me out a little bit. And then, like, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of different things that kind of is weird. People left at that one. People are like, we're out of here. What the fuck is he talking about? What's up, Baker? How are you, buddy? Didn't lose any subs, though. That'd be something interesting, huh? Where are y'all doggers from? I'm from the Adirondacks, Max Mad. No cap. That is great. That is great. Oh, good stuff right there. Thank you, Squatch and Holler. Appreciate you. I really do. Lake Lure, North Carolina. That's just a creepy name right there. Lake Lure. All right. I used to go running and take a break at a railroad bridge in Iowa City when I went to college there. I did a lot of night runs. Sometimes, only after dark, I'd hear something swimming around at the railroad bridge. The bridge was located southeast of the University of Iowa over the Iowa River, maybe human or deer-sized. One time, it was late and I heard it again, but this time I could see something dark in the water. Looked like a profile of a very large head. I said, "Hello, someone there?" It stopped dead still and looked up at me. It was dark, but I could tell that it was looking right at me. This went on for 30 seconds, up to a minute. It then went underwater, and I never saw it or heard it again. I told myself that it was a person swimming, but why not say hi back? Also, where did it go under the water? It was a slow river. I would have heard it surfacing or getting out of the water unless it went over 100 feet. Some people are saying beavers and otters. I've seen river otters, but not in the United States. It was far too big to be a normal sized river otter. I've never seen a 6-foot one. And I don't think they live anywhere near Iowa. It was much too big to be a beaver as well. I see those all the time, and they're usually denoted by telltale signs as dams and chewed trees. Also, I've never seen beavers active at night, only during the day. I think it was probably just a person, maybe a homeless person, who wanted not to be bothered by me. As I said, that's the closest I've come to seeing a cryptid. It was something. It was probably an aquatic something. I don't know. That one, the aquatic story of the young boy in a wheelchair with his dad and uncle. That story scares me more than any, not more than any story I've ever heard, but it's really fucking creepy. I really don't like that story. French fries with mayo is good, Toby. 100%. French fries and mayo. Oh, yeah. Delirium, thank you so much. I appreciate you, my friend. I appreciate you. It absolutely addicted to knowledge. Delirium, thank you once more. I appreciate you. It does. As a parent, imagine your child is a paraplegic, or not a paraplegic because they can move their arms. So paralyzed from the waist down. And they still are active. They still like to go outside and and then they get attacked by some fucking crazy creature that came out of the water that has spikes on them and shit. Like absolutely terrifying. Jeff, when did you share that story? The one that scares you? A while ago, a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks, maybe 2 months ago. I'm not sure. I'll quickly give you the rundown of it. So, young man in a wheelchair, his dad and uncle all went fishing. They were supposed to go deep sea fishing, but there was some bad storms and the trip had gotten canceled. They were out in a lake in Oregon, and they had gone out, parked. The dad had wheeled his son onto a dock that kind of jutted out into the small lake. And the son was sitting there. He had just cast his pole out. He looked back at his dad and uncle, who went up to the truck to get their chairs, their poles, and the cooler. And as he looks back, he felt this kind of pull, and it pulled his wheelchair right out from underneath him, and he slammed on the dock. And he said, thank God I didn't use my seatbelt, because if he had, he probably would have been pulled in the water as well. So as he's lying there, he realizes that something's now pulling him, trying to pull him into the water, and he's got nothing to grab onto because it's like just a flat, slick dock. And he somehow does the only smart thing and rolls to his belly. So as he's on his belly, he feels this kind of presence, like figure on him. And then he rolls back and realizes that it's this creature that came from the water. It had spikes on it. It was very reptilian like. He had put his arm up and it had bit his arm. It was scratching him. His uncle and dad came running down, and his uncle had like some sort of club, probably like a fishing club, whap, and hit this thing like 3 or 4 times in the back, and it broke the club. His dad had kicked it in the face, and it eventually had gotten off of the young kid. They pick him up and they bring him to the truck, and he's bleeding all over. And they start driving to the hospital, and they make the story up because, they didn't want to get in trouble or have the hospital think they did something to the kid. So they all agreed, let's say a mountain lion attacked you while we were fishing. And that was the experience. Not as good as me narrating it from the thing, but as best as I can right there. What's up, Five Rings? How are you, my brother? Absolutely, Delirium. It was freaking creepy. What's up, Steve-O? I love powwows. I grew up on the powwow circuit when I was younger. Buddy! Come here, bud. Come on, buddy. He's not coming tonight. He is definitely not coming tonight. He's a dank. Buddy! Buddy! What an asshole. Come on, bud. Maybe he'll come. I don't know. What's up, Girth? Girth Brooks is with us tonight. What's up, Girth? Tigger is laying on the back of my couch looking out the window right now. I guarantee that's what he's doing. They probably came running to you, didn't they, addicted to knowledge? He's never obedient. Does any other cat, like anybody who owns cats, Tigger is such an asshole that when he lays on a blanket, right, and he gets off of it, he'll jump back on the blanket and smell the blanket like someone else was laying on it. And I'm like, dude, it's your ass that was laying there, you big dirt bag. I'm doing good, 5 Rings. I'm doing good. How was your Christmas, brother? Except I drool everywhere now. Tigger does tricks for treats. All Tigger does is sit there and stare at me. He's like this. And I have to give him to him because he's such a cute boy. Oh, yeah, exactly. Does it, Johnny Ohm? When my mom and her friend Lisa were teenagers, they were up on the roof of Lisa's house and saw a bright light in the sky. The next thing they know, the light was gone. They think they've been on the roof for 15 minutes, but 3 hours had passed. My mom doesn't remember a thing about what happened during that time, and Lisa simply refuses to talk about it. She would never answer my mom with things like, I don't know, just drop it, for a long time. So a couple months later, mom moves away and loses contact with Lisa for 10 years. She finally meets up with her again and immediately notices that something is odd about Lisa. Lisa, apparently very distant to her and very dreamy demeanor, like she was really happy and at peace for no good reason. After they talk for a bit, Lisa brings up the incident on the roof. Mom says she still doesn't remember anything about it, but Lisa does remember. She remembers everything. She said that at first it was all in bits and pieces and she couldn't remember any of it clearly. She was confused and scared and wanted to avoid discussing it. Then, as time passed, she began to remember more of it. She remembers it all clearly, and she remembers that other 3 times she was abducted after that clearly as well. At first, they paralyzed her somehow and did all sorts of invasive experiments on her. But by the most recent time, they stopped probing her and began talking with her. They did not speak English or any other human language, but she could understand everything they said, even though she couldn't speak their language herself. Apparently, they told her all sorts of things, stuff about space, Earth itself, and most shockingly, predicted years beforehand that she would get pregnant in a specific year and it would be stillborn, and that she would never be able to have children after that. They also told her that it was not her fault, and they even made an attempt to save her from this fate, but they were unsuccessful. They also told her that she had abducted my mother. Wait, they had abducted my mom. After the first incident, Mom says she has no recollection of any other abductions, but she does have reoccurring nightmares about being abducted. And she's almost sure that they are just that, nightmares. Anyway, Lisa tells Mom that every time she speaks with them, she comes to understand the truth more and more. When Mom inquires what the truth is, Lisa says, "You will know eventually." She says that once she started with learning the truth, everything became wonderful. Mom has seen her a few more times over the years. We still live in another state from her, and she apparently has a pretty normal life and doesn't like to obsess over the alien stuff like some supposed abductees do. She only ever brings it up in passing, not like it's a central part of her daily life. What's up, 59th? How are you, buddy? Good seeing you here. Maggie Mayhem, good night to you. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for the love. Happy Hounds, you have 3 ferrets? I don't have it printed out in front of me right now. It's downstairs in my downstairs office. So I can't read it. Hey, CT, how are you? Tim's comment just got me inquisitive about that. We're all outside. Start crackling, clacking its teeth loud. Tim, oh shit, that's creepy, brother. Ferrets kind of smell. They're cute though. They are little assholes. Where is my mind? Oh, where is my mind? Oh, it's $20. It's $20, bitches. Beastmaster is one of the greatest movies of the 80s ever. I never saw the series. I just like the movie. Kodo and Podo or whatever. Dude, I think there's probably the majority of Americans' cats are probably strays at one point. No, it's just something I do. I use the shofar in the woods when I'm out in the woods to try and call something in. But I am definitely getting nothing in my town. I might get an occasional drunkard. Thank you, CT. I appreciate that. I am calling Larry Flint Jr. the lot lizard. Maybe he'll get a little medieval on my ass. All right. So I want you guys to honestly give me your opinion on this. All right. Because this one has got me kind of like, did he? I think I once encountered a demon. I was 17 years old and walking around the neighborhood. I lived in Santa Fe, New Mexico. There was a large office building near my home that takes up a whole block. So I was walking around it. It was bright and clear day. Nothing was out of the ordinary. As I'm walking, a man appeared. I am very aware of my surroundings, but I had no idea where he came from. 1 minute, there was no one. The next, he just appeared out of thin air. To say I was creeped out is an understatement, but I kept walking. The man had black hair and a short black beard. He had a dark jacket on, even though it was the middle of summer. When we walked past each other, he smiled at me. The scariest thing about him was the darkest feeling I have ever gotten from someone. Like, I can't even express how dark it was. I was so scared. I quickly walked away, and when I thought I was good distance away, like 4 to 5 feet, I looked back and he was gone. There are no houses or any cars or anything he could have gotten into. And even if he somehow managed to cross the street, I would have been able to see him. I saw that man one other time, a few months after the first incident. I was once again walking around the neighborhood, but not around that same office building. He was still a block or so away from me. I quickly turned to the nearest corner and ran away. I think if I hadn't been able to get away, he may have tried to hurt me. I truly believe he was following me. I really don't want to see him a third time because I think if I do, he may possibly hurt me. The shirt says, I'm not gay, but $20 is $20. There's more to the shirt than just saying I'm not gay. I think it was either a demon or an alien, especially in New Mexico. Why did that computer just turn on? That was fucking weird. You saw that, Tyler? This shirt is not asking for trouble. It's actually has a story behind it. I've worn this shirt for like a year and a half now. Alien to disguise. Yeah, yeah. Darren K, you know what it says. Definitely buy a German Shepherd, Steve-O. Definitely buy a German Shepherd. German Shepherds are awesome. It says double RL 1993 coast to coast. But we had a German Shepherd when I was young, and she was the greatest dog ever. I fucking loved her. You wouldn't wear that shirt down to the supermarket. Oh, I would wear. I've worn it. I've worn it outside of my house. I'm not afraid to say. What the fuck? The only dog I wouldn't own would be nah. Yeah, maybe. No, I don't think there is like if I had my choice of dogs, the dog that I really want, like I pray to God Tigger never passes away. But if he ever does, I'll wait a year before I get another pet. But I'm gonna get a Weinreimer. Um, I think the only dog I wouldn't own, and someone said it, is a Chow. Chows scare me. They're fucking mean. I got bit by one when I was little. Um, but I just, for some reason, I like Weinreimers. They're beautiful. The gray, sleek hair, blue eyes. I got peed on by a Chow. Holy shit. Oh my God. My dad got bit by a pit bull and had to go to the hospital. Yeah, I had an Akita that bit that fought a Chow once. Doggo Argentino. They're fucking awesome dogs. Cane Corsos are awesome too. I can imagine it would save your life. I'd imagine the I was walking my dog Jojo, which was my Akita, and I was 20. I was like 20 at the time. And she was a purebred Akita. I'd gone to get some weed from this girl one day, and I saw her dog. She had a puppy. It was a baby Akita. It was, how old was Jojo? I think she was like 10 months old when I got her. But she was chained to a back of this tree in this girl's backyard, and her boyfriend was a scumbag. I hated her boyfriend, and his name was Dallas. And so I looked at Robin, this girl, and I'm like, dude, what's up with your puppy? I'm like, the fucking chain is way too big to be on its neck. And she knew how I felt about dogs because we grew up together. And she's like, do you want her? And I'm like, yeah, why? Are you getting rid of her? And she's like, no, my boyfriend's really mean to her. And I'm afraid that he's going to hurt her someday. And I'm like, I'll take her right now. And she's like, all right. And she gave me the dog with the papers. Like they paid like $1,200 for her. So I got her, and she was the greatest dog on earth. The wolf, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you. And so she was just like my best friend when I was, a young kid. I was 20, so I was still a kid. And I'll never forget. I was walking through this small town we lived in, and it was like on the outskirts of where I live now. And this lady had this really weird old lady had this really mean fucking Chow, and she always walked with it, but she never had her dog on a leash, and it had bitten a few people. I don't know how this dog should have been put down. It was fucking mean. And I never had a collar on Jojo. I had a harness. So I'm walking Jojo, and we're going to my friend's house. We're just walking, and this fucking Chow comes out of nowhere and starts running at me. And it was like, I didn't want it to bite Jojo. I'd rather it bit me. So I picked Jojo up like this, and she's huge. So I'm like holding the bottom of her, and she like dropped out of her harness, and they started fighting. And Jojo didn't get bit once. but that child got bit quite a few times. And I grabbed JoJo. She didn't try to bite me. I just grabbed her and picked her up and kind of pushed the dog away from me and started running down the road with my dog. And like a day later, the cops came to my house and they asked what happened. And I told them, and they were like, that lady, she's a menace just like her dog and this and that. So I didn't get in trouble, but it was just fucking weird. What's up, Jordy? Yeah, I don't think this lady should not have had dogs. You know what I mean? She was just not a person to have. She was like the mean old woman that nobody should, you know. What's up, Corey Cole? Yeah, JoJo was awesome. She was badass. I actually had to put her to sleep though. I'll never forget. She was skittish because she had been abused for the first couple of months of her life. So if you startled her, she would jump, like, you know. And we were walking. I had her on a leash. She had her harness on. And we were in Lake George, which is like a tourist town, just north of me. And we're walking. And she was really socialized too. Like but she was always skittish. And I'll never forget, this little girl came out of fucking nowhere and just like ran over to her and like grabbed her by her fur and scared my dog. And JoJo just went pop on her arm, one bite, and let go. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. And this little girl was probably 4 or 5 years old. And the parents were ballistic. Cops came, and I was forced to put her to sleep. So it was terrible. Yeah, they are fearless. They are fearless. They're ferociously loyal too. That's true, Jane. It's true. If she was raised by me and didn't have that couple of months of being abused by that guy, like he would kick her and shit and just do really mean shit to her. She probably wouldn't have been skittish at all. Well, truth quest, she wasn't stupid. The little girl was stupid for coming running out and grabbing a dog. Her parents should have said, hey, don't fucking touch strangers' dogs. People who abuse animals are just assholes. You know, people who I could never imagine like how someone can look at an animal and hurt it. Like, it's like, I don't even know. Like, people who abuse children and animals have no reason to fucking live. Like, you abuse the most helpless fucking thing on earth, a child or an animal. You shouldn't even live. At the time of this incident, I was in elementary school. I was about 11. My father drank a lot, and during his drinking binges, there were times when he would not come home to sleep. I was very worried. I am the oldest of 3 siblings. All my life, I had paranormal and unexplained experiences. On this occasion, when my dad did not come home, it would have been around 11 or 12 at night. I couldn't sleep, and I felt the need to look out the window. I had a feeling of fear, and when I looked out the window, I saw something in the corner of our wall that faced my back toward the room. I noticed that it had red eyes, and they were staring right at my window. They were large eyes, like those of a cat or a hare or an animal that reflects lights with its eyes. These red eyes were not reflecting, but projecting intense red light. I noticed that its head was like that of an owl. It was big for a bird, and it was staring straight at me. I've seen many owls, and this was not one. I felt an ugly fear because I felt that thing knew that I was seeing it. I felt my heart beat faster and my breathing accelerated like when a dog chases you in the street. I lowered my head when I looked back and it was no longer there, but I felt the sensation that the thing had jumped or flown up into the sky. It was black and had dark, long plumage that hung from its shoulders. It was hunched over and its head was semi-round. I didn't see any arms, just a dark figure hunched over with large, bright red eyes. I'm currently 37 years old. This sighting occurred in Sinaloa, Mexico. I currently live in that same house, and I've never seen it again. But every time I hear experiences about the Mothman, I know that this may have been what I seen. Ermic, was it the Mothman? Randall Kennedy, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much. Andy Davis, you bouncing? Have a good night, buddy. Once again, Randall Kennedy, thank you so much. Ermic, was that the Mothman? We have to ask our Mothman expert, Aramak. Andy, thank you for hanging out with us tonight, brother. I appreciate you. Have a happy new year. Where is Ermic? He's got the night off. He's probably doing something nasty. All right, we're 2 hours in. 2 hours in. And it is time for a lot lizard experience. Ugh. At the dimly lit parking lot of Big Rig Rest Stop, a peculiar ambiance loomed. Neon lights flickered over the rows of idling trucks, illuminating the faces of weary truckers as they recounted their tales of the road. But amidst the chatter and rumble of engines, one figure stood out like a sore thumb. Penny, the lot lizard. Penny was notorious amongst the truckers, known not just for her peculiar antics, but for her uncanny knack of showing up at the most inconvenient times. She was a quirky blend of mischief and mystery, sporting an oversized trucker hat that seemed 2 sizes too big, a patchwork coat adorned with glittering pins. With a twinkle in her eye, she glided through the lot, her high heels clicking ominously over the asphalt. One night, as the storm brewed overhead, Penny was on her usual rounds. The air was thick with humidity, and the scent of engine oil mixed with the lingering smell of stale coffee from the diner. She approached the cab of a Peterbilt where Big Joe the trucker, known for his burly frame and booming laughter, was finishing his late-night snack. "Hey there, Big Joe. You looking for some company?" she called, her voice sultry mix of mischief and cheer. Joe chuckled, wiping the crumbs from his beard. "Not tonight, Penny. I'm just trying to get through this sandwich without losing my dinner." Penny grinned, revealing a set of mismatched teeth, one canine distinctly sharper than the other. "Suit yourself, but you're missing out on the best ride of your life." As she turned to stroll to the next target, the storm rolled in. Rain began to pelt the pavement, and the truckers huddled inside their vehicles, avoiding the wrath of Mother Nature. But not Penny. She danced through the rain, twirling like a deranged ballerina, much to the amusement and bewilderment of the onlookers. "Why is she always like this?" muttered Jimmy, a newcomer to the lot. He was fresh from his first cross-country haul and had already heard tales of Penny, the legendary lot lizard. "Just her way of keeping it light," I guess, Big Joe replied, shaking his head. Just wait till you see what she pulls next. Suddenly, Penny slipped, her heels skidding on the slick surface, and she fell into an open door of a truck. A collective gasp echoed through the lot as the truck's interior erupted into a cacophony of honking and laughter. Penny, you all right there? Called out a grinning trucker named Rick. The cab was filled with sounds of her exaggerated groans and muffled giggles. I'm fine. Just checking to see if this rig comes with a sunroof, she shouted, her voice barely audible over the laughter. As she emerged, sopping wet and undeterred, her antics only escalated. She started crawling up the side of the truck, striking ridiculous poses as if she was modeling for an invisible audience, the truckers howling, their laughter rising above the downpour. But then things took a strange turn. Penny, in her playful frenzy, suddenly crouched down and started talking to the stray cat that had wandered into the lot. Hey there, little fella. You want to ride to a fancy side of town? She teased, her voice laced with a mock seduction. The cat stared at her with a mix of disdain and curiosity, clearly unimpressed. It meowed, and Penny replied, Oh, you like a little mystery, do you? Well, let me tell you. I'll show you things that would make your whiskers curl. But as Penny leaned closer, the cat hissed and bolted, leaving her bewildered on the pavement. The truckers erupted in laughter once again, and Penny took a theatrical bow, relishing the attention. Just then, a thunderclap shook the ground and lightning struck nearby, casting an eerie glow over the parking lot. In a flash, Penny's expression changed, and she stood upright, a glint of something otherworldly in her eyes. You truckers think you've seen it all, huh? She called out, her tone shifting from playful to oddly serious. But have you ever encountered the cryptid of the lot? The laughter died down, replaced by a mixture of confusion and intrigue. What's that? Jimmy asked, leaning forward. With a dramatic flourish, Penny raised her hands, channeling her inner performer. I am the mystical lot lizard. I can grant you one wish tonight, one that involves a lot of fun. The truckers exchanged glances. What kind of fun? One asked. Penny winked. The kind that gets you off the road and into a wild adventure. But beware, the cryptid always takes payment. Just as they were about to ask what she meant, Penny dramatically collapsed into a fit of laughter and sudden shift of tone to ridiculous to take seriously. All right, I'm just messing with you, she cackled, her voice returning to a normal, cheerful lilt. But if you see the cryptid lurking in the shadows, it's probably just me looking for a good time, or maybe just a taco. As the storm began to clear, the truckers found themselves caught between laughter and bewilderment. Penny, the delightful enigma, was back on her feet, twirling with abandon as she continued her nightly rounds, ever the queen of the lot. And while you may never quite knew what to make of her antics, they agreed on one thing. There was no one quite like Penny, the perverted cryptid lot lizard, who made long nights on the road just a little brighter and more memorable. I'm Lisa Marie. I have one book that I wrote for Victor, but I narrated 3 audiobooks that I didn't write. They were written by Tom Lyons. Thank you, SDL. Randall, 3 more months. Good job, buddy. It won't be 3 months. Sounds like a long time, but it won't be. Carpal tunnel relief. Ooh. Thank you, Kathy Hayes. Hello, everyone. I just turned 18 years old, and I'm from southern Louisiana. I had a disturbing encounter that really spooked me. I just want to add that I never believed in any of this stuff until that day. After work, I decided to go fishing for the remainder of daylight. I went to a canal by my house that is located by a church. On my side, there is a levee that leads into a nature preserve and a highway. On the other side of the canal, there are woods with a singular tree with a warning sign. I have fished here many times with people. I was never alone, but today I was. Every time we go to this spot, we always hear a large animal running around the woods. And we always thought it was a hog and would wait for it to come out of the thick woods, but it never did. So today I got there, and as soon as I stepped out of my car, I got an eerie feeling, but thought nothing of it. So I hopped over the gate and walked down to the canal with my poles. When I got there, it was normal, just a few armadillos, some bird, and other creatures running around, so I started fishing. 15 minutes into fishing, the feeling of a gaze sat onto me. It wasn't a normal gaze. It felt as if I was being watched from all directions, so it sent me off. As always, I heard it again, a giant creature running through the woods. Then in the distance, I heard a bark, so I started to think it was a dog. As I walked along the bank casting, the animal followed me, and where I went, it followed. I was scared. I kept looking behind me, alongside of me, in front of me, and this continued for 10 minutes. I reached a certain point along the canal where there were marks in the tall overgrowth alongside the bank. Then I heard it. Boom, boom, boom. It was a distinct sound of a hollow drum being hit 3 times. And then the animal started to go crazy and run around rapidly. I was scared even more. I started to fish my way back to where I left my bag, and then I heard it again. Boom, boom. The drum was hit twice. And I heard it run in front of me. I froze. There was a little opening in the trees. I saw the trees shake as this creature walked through the opening and looked at me. I stood there frozen. I was scared. I couldn't see its face, just a shadow and an eye staring at me, a black eye, too black, like a portal to hell. I started to walk as this creature turned away from me, and then I heard a singular drum. Boom! It was quiet, too quiet. The birds stopped chirping. I ran as fast as I could and didn't look back. I was too scared to. I got to my car and drove home. I want to add that I've grown up here, and there are trails at that patch of woods alongside the church with bloody dresses nailed to the trees, upside down crosses carved into them, and baby doll heads with their eyes cut out. I need answers. Please, someone let me know what this happened. Where and when this happened. I didn't believe it until this day it did. I don't smoke, vape, drink, or any of that. I know I'm not crazy. I saw what I saw, and it was not human, and it sure as hell wasn't an animal. Gringo, thank you, my friend. I truly appreciate you. All right. Last experience of the night. And then I'm going to wish everyone a happy new year and go check on my little daughter. I've been working in the woods for a living here in Western United States lately as a fire lookout in the remote location. That's a job that I really would love to have. Live in a fire tower. Oh my God, how awesome would that be? I would do my live streams from a fire tower. That'd be great. Did Victor ever tell you a story about Victor actually said that Bigfoot could not get rabies. Well, they could, but he never encountered one with rabies. Thank you, Lilith. All right, here we go, kids. I've been working in the woods for a living here in Western United States lately as a fire lookout in a remote location. I'm talking a 3-mile hike to the most abandoned dirt road and another hour's drive before you even hit pavement. This was last summer. It was around 11 p.m. on a moonless night, pitch black outside, and the lights of town 30 miles away have almost dimmed. It was a relatively calm night, very little wind. The tower sits atop a more or less bald spot atop a lower peak in the middle of a burn scar. There's not much within the immediate area besides some long grass and a smattering of young fir trees. At 11 p.m., I'm sitting under the glow of a propane light out on the porch finishing a book. I suddenly hear rustling coming down the hill to the south, about 20 degrees to the right, where there is less to see. It was just barely audible and sounded like it was approximately 300 feet away. It was very sudden and sent shivers up my spine. I went back inside and grabbed my flashlight to have a look around the catwalk. Nothing at all out there in that direction that I could immediately detect. And then I saw it. Well, I saw something. And to this day, I am not certain what it was. But what I do know is that it was not a trick of the light or my eyes. I looked at an exact spot for the next few nights and never saw it again. I know my home like the back of my hand, every tree, every shrub. Out in the distance, next to the lone boundary tree, was a vague shape, dark and ill-defined despite the surrounding area being relatively in focus. Looked to be 5 feet in height, roundish, definitely wider than a tree, roughly human-shaped but not quite, like it was some memory of what a human would look like from someone who has not seen another one in a long time. Hunched, I watched it for what seemed like forever. It didn't move, not initially. After a bit, it shifted slowly to my right behind a tree, and then it was gone, and I never saw it again. I would have been able to see it behind the skinny tree, and if it went down the tree or slid or side of the tree. As I said, this relatively small snag was on its own on relatively gentle downslope. Now, this area is full of lots of animals, mostly whitetail and wild cow. I have some black bear, some elk, some cougar, and some wolves, but they don't tend to let themselves be seen, and they tend to skitter off when they learn that they are being observed. I've seen the predators before, but never that close to my home. The whitetails and elk come up, but there's little in terms of food, and people are known to come here. We also have visitors and hunters, but my location is particularly not well known to the locals and does not exist on maps. The official start of the extremely overgrown, hard to follow, and obviously abandoned trail is about 2 miles after a locked and unmarked gate. Hunters don't tend to come up because the animals don't tend to cross. Poachers wouldn't because they are aware of the report of law enforcement. It still freaks me out to this day. I hope someone admits to what they did. All right. Ugh. I am got to go check on my bud. Yeah, she's still sleeping. She didn't. I just want to make sure she's all right. Guys, Jay Cortez, what's up, buddy? Everyone have a great new year. Be safe. Um, if you guys do go out, make sure you have a D&D or whatever they are. And Salty Rant, how are you? Everything's great. Thank you. And just be safe, you know? Nothing's worth losing your freedom or your life over. So I might, if my daughter feels better, I have some fireworks that are downstairs, and I was thinking about maybe going out by the river where I've brought you guys there before. There was a Bigfoot sighting back in the 80s, and I was thinking about doing some fireworks from there, but recording it or maybe doing it live. I'm not sure yet. We'll figure it out as we get closer the next couple of days. So with that, thank you for everything you guys have done for me this year. I do appreciate it, and I love you all. Stay safe. Thank you once again.